What do we have? Stephen A?
Stephen A. Smith talking with one of the Podjon guys calls out the Democratic establishment for constantly trying to choose their leaders. If you see that one, Bradley.
Ooh, that's not bad then. I'll take this over him essentially saying that, trans athletes are ruining women's rights, he said the other day.
Democrats were boring. We're the NBA skills competition where Wemby's cheating while Trump is the USA-Canada hockey game where there's 3 fights in 10 seconds and you can't look away. And I don't know how to compete with that. We don't have a leader who can compete with that. We don't have a party that can compete with that. We don't have a message that can compete with that.
But tell why. You can't compete with that, and you don't have that. I'm not talking about you specifically, of course.
I know.
About Democratic Party. You don't know that, and you can't compete with that for the biggest reason of all, because y'all are too busy trying to pick candidates for the American people instead of listening to the American people tell you who they want. The last Democrat that the American people told you they wanted was Barack Obama.
Oh.
Hillary Clinton.
It's her turn. Bernie.
Bernie Sanders had momentum. It's Hillary's turn. Joe Biden captured momentum because Representative Clyburn got involved in South Carolina, saved his behind, but it's really his turn. Okay? He has no business running for re-election, but everybody went for it, knowing he was supposed to be transitional. He's going to be 81 years of age. Then you sit up there. He doesn't have a primary. Then he goes on the debate stage, embarrasses himself. Then y'all still let him take 3 damn weeks to walk away instead of getting the hell out there immediately so you can see if there's somebody other than Kamala Harris who could be the Democratic nominee. Then she gets the nomination and everybody wants to act like she's the rock star all of y'all wanted all along. Oh my God, let's throw up our hands and just say, hey, she is the one. When you know good and damn well that wasn't the truth. Meanwhile, Trump has been around since 2015. They had Christie, they had Kasich, they had Fiorini, I believe her name is.
Yep.
You had later on, you had DeSantis, you had Nikki Haley, you had Ramaswamy, you had all of these people. It didn't matter. We went through lawfare and all this stuff. It didn't matter. They looked the public in the face and they said, "We want him. We don't care what y'all want," and forced the Republican Party to capitulate to the demands of their constituency. That's what they did. The Democrats somehow, some way have gotten away with ignoring the constituency and compelling the constituency to capitulate to what they want as a party. And that is the problem. And that's why I said it all needs to go. Some of those candidates need to go. The pundits, the strategists, they need to go. Whoever was involved with the latest election, from a strategy standpoint, every one of them should be fired. Every one of them.
I'm back on board, question mark? No, I mean, he's a great critic. Being a critic is a very different role than being president, I want to be clear. But everything he's saying there is accurate. And that's been it's echoed a lot of what I've been saying about the last, in the postmortems, about the lack of democratic responsiveness. And both with the genocide in Gaza, which is what a majority of his base wanted. I mean, there was a poll in YouGov that said only like 9% of Democratic voters sympathize more with the Israelis right now than and then it's like,
and I would encourage them to be Republicans, please. I don't want them to vote in my primaries.
Yeah, the majority say Palestinians, and then below that is like both. And so my point is just like that, between that and not listening to their base on that, and then also not listening to the base on, we want somebody other than Joe Biden. You can't talk about democracy and Donald Trump's very real threat, as we're seeing right now, without showing a responsiveness to those two key issues. It made it feel like it's not just about saying vote for us on election day. It's about saying we're going to be the people, the party that responds to the will of the people more directly, as opposed to the right. And for all of Trump's many, many faults, he has that transactional quality to them where he actually cares about feeding something to the masses, even if it is just like, hey, I'll bring RFK Jr. on board, who could have shaved off a few percentage points of my total, and then I will make him Human Health Services Secretary, and I will appease the Maha constituency. That's something that the Democrats don't do. They do what, Jamie Harrison does. We're going to make it so that we have no primary process and that the 81-year-old guy gets to the forefront, gets to the top again. Lydia Rose, Stephen A. is a tough one. I see a clip and get screaming mad because he said something stupid, or incredibly impressed that he stands up for the right thing. I don't get it. He's a
blowhard.
Lydia.
Yeah, he's a sports talk guy.
It's sports talk, which I have a deep, some of the better arguers. He literally has made arguments for a living for 40 years, and of the New York sports personalities, he's actually maybe the most sane. Like, More than what, Anita Bryant? Wait, what's her last name? Anita Bryant is the politician, right?
Yeah.
No, Anita Bryant is the ESPN woman, right?
I don't watch ESPN.
Okay. Or is Anita Bryant the anti-feminist person?
Anita Bryant's
I know who you're talking about.
Anita Marks. Anita Marks. Better than Anita Marks, better than Mad Dog, whatever. But yeah, I mean,
Remember Jim Rome?
He's a great critic.
Oh, yeah.
And he would be a great Democratic, if they had the right candidate. He'd be a great surrogate. Like, take Stephen A. any day over Mark Cuban, for example. But Kate in LA said, I want more future talk, less past talk. Dems suck, we know. No, I know. I'm trying to balance that too.
We're going to completely redo the same mistakes if we don't understand why you can't talk about why the party is not standing up to fascism without talking about why the selection process that led to Hakeem Jeffries being the leader of the party.
I agree. I just also want to, we did a lot of Trump stuff yesterday. It's a balancing act of what Matt describes and then also responding to the horror show that we see today. But fair point. Black-pilled Kiwi says, I don't know why you guys are so surprised about how the Dems are acting. I think the only ones who realize that the Rubicon has been crossed, and if you're too adversarial to the current administration, you're likely to end up out of a window soon. They don't have popular support, so they'll capitulate to save themselves.
They do have popular support that could easily be called upon, but they're too corrupt to actually get on the back of it. There's a huge popular will to resist this administration. And the reason that they can't really harness is because they can't simply say things like, except people like AOC or Bernie or the Social Democrats, that people should be put above profit, which is what is meant when Trump and co say efficiency.
Greg from Arkansas says, R.M. Brown is the mouthpiece of our generation. Which generation? Every single one.
Yes.
I don't get that one, but
I'll Venmo that guy later.
All we have to do is flood the zone. Every day we hit them with 3 things. They'll bite on one and we'll get all of our stuff done. Bang, bang, bang. These guys will never be able to recover.
That's Steve Bannon spelling out the strategy. Overwhelm Americans with news so Trump can quietly push his real agenda. This is the shock doctrine in action, and it's happening right now. Trump is flooding the news cycle with executive orders so the media jumps from headline to headline while his real power grabs go unnoticed, and it's working. Go to ground.news/majority or scan this QR code to find the only source covering Trump quietly reversing a rule banning lobbyists from giving gifts or joining the government. Trump is using chaos to hide corruption in plain sight again. And unless you have ground news, you probably missed it. That's why I've relied on my partners for years now. Their app, website, browser extension let me compare coverage from across the political spectrum, find angles my usual outlets may have missed. Because I can't track everything Trump's doing or undoing, I've also built personalized feeds to follow key issues from independent sources I trust. This way, I'm not getting sucked into the same media traps everyone else does. So if you're tired of getting lost in the chaos, get the same unlimited access Vantage plan I use for almost half the price. Just go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to subscribe for $5 a month. If you aren't controlling your news, they're controlling you. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.